Good morning, everyone. At the end of this week's Torah portion, Hazino, we find God commanding Moshe to go up on Mount Nebo, take a look at the land of Israel, because then he was going to pass on. And when God tells Moshe to go up on the mountain, it says God instructed him to do so be'etzem hayom hazeh, in the middle of the day. And Rashi points out that there are 3 places in the entire Torah where the verse says that God instructed someone to do something in broad daylight, in smack the middle of the day. The first one was when God told Noah to enter the ark before the flood began. The second one is when God said, I'm going to take the Jews out of Egypt in the middle of the day. And the third one is right here when God says to Moses, go up on Mount Nebo and you're going to pass away. And Rashi asks, why in these 3 locations does the Torah emphasize in the middle of the day? And Rashi says, fascinatingly, that these were 3 instances that people thought they could prevent God's will. The people in the generation of the flood said, when we see Noah going into the ark, we'll block his path, and then the flood cannot come. The Egyptians said, when we see the Jews going out of Egypt, we'll stop them, we'll prevent them from leaving. And the Jewish people said, when we see Moses about to go up on the mountain, we'll prevent and block his path from going up to the mountain so he cannot die. Because they said, this beloved leader who took us out of Egypt, split the sea for us, gave us the Torah at Mount Scheiner, brought us the manna from heaven, brought us the water from the rock, we will not let him die. And so God says, well, no one could prevent the will of Hashem. It will happen in the middle of the day, and no one could obstruct the path. But the amazing question is, we read throughout the 40 years that the Jewish people bitterly, constantly complained and challenged Moshe Rabbeinu's leadership. They complained about the manna and the water and everything else along the way. And yet suddenly they're saying, when it's time for Moses to die, we'll block his path and not let him die. And the answer obviously is that sometimes we don't appreciate people during their lifetime. It's only at the very end that we realize what we had and what we're losing. And so the lesson from this story is, don't wait, like the Jewish people, till the end of Moses' life to say, oh, looking back in hindsight, he was an amazing leader, we loved him, we don't want him to die, we don't want him to leave us, he took us out of Egypt, he split the sea, he brought us the manna and the water. But rather appreciate your loved ones each and every day, and realize that we never know how much time we have. And therefore every day we have to celebrate and cherish and appreciate, acknowledge, and be grateful to all those in our lives who are our blessings in our lives. You know, this year Rosh Hashanah begins on Friday night. Friday night we always welcome the angels into our home, and we sing the Shalom Aleichem on the Shabbat table. And Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach once said, when we sing Shalom Aleichem to the angels who greet us on Friday night, we're not just singing it to the invisible angels. We're singing Shalom Aleichem to the angels standing around the table. The messengers, the angels that God sent into our lives, our spouse, our children, our parents, our siblings, our friends, our loved ones, they are our living angels that God provided for us in this world to enjoy and make our lives rich and beautiful and meaningful. And therefore we should never wait till it's too late, but express our gratitude and appreciation to them and our love to them each and every day. Just this weekend, there was a terrible earthquake in Marrakesh, in Morocco. Our synagogue had a trip with 45 members who spent Shabbat in Marrakesh, a beautiful Shabbat, just a little over a month ago. And immediately, when we heard the news, we thought about all the wonderful people we met in the community, and are they okay? And thank God we've received reports that everyone in the community that we were with, the Jewish community, no one was hurt, nobody was harmed, nobody is missing. But it's in these frightening moments of life that you realize how fragile and short life is, and how we have to utilize every moment to celebrate life, and more importantly, to celebrate each other, to raise each other up, to express our appreciation to one another. And unlike the Jews in the time of Moses, don't wait till the person's about to pass away to look back and say, oh, they were so wonderful. Let them know every step of the journey how much happier Moses' life would have been had the Jews said thank you for the 40 years each and every day, rather than complaints and only recognize His greatness at the very end. Have a wonderful day.